In the middle of my grade 8 parent-teacher interview, my teacher told me I was stupid and I would amount to nothing. So my name's Tyler Reed. I'm a third-year child and youth care practitioner. I come from Pembroke, Ontario. Growing up was a little different than most. For the first 6 years of my life, I had an opportunity to have my two parents together. However, one day that just drastically changed. It took me a few years to really understand why, but one of the many things I remember from my childhood is sitting down up in the upstairs, and I remember my parents were getting into an argument and my dad was getting really aggressive. So at 6 years old, I had the phone in my hand ready to call the police just in case anything happened for my biological father. All I remember is what my mom has been telling us, and a lot of it has to do with hair pulling, screaming, yelling at us. The only thing I actually will ever remember is watching what he did to my mother. Moving on through elementary school, I was kind of an outcast because people knew my parents weren't together. They would make fun of me constantly. Then getting into grade 8, it wasn't just the students. It was the teachers that started causing problems. In the middle of my grade 8 parent-teacher interview, my teacher told me I was stupid and I would amount to nothing.
Mr. Bully, why'd you do this to me? I'm being put out of my misery, and I hear those lies in your past.
So I've been playing guitar since I was about 10 years old. I've used a lot of singing and songwriting, and sometimes even just jamming out on the guitar to try and express my feelings and get the sadness or sometimes the anger out. On times where I didn't do that, I was out volunteering. I would volunteer with the Boys and Girls Club, and volunteer with St. John Ambulance. I would volunteer with the Salvation Army and the Salvation Army Youth Center. Summers I'd go to camp. I'd be anywhere, and as long as I was active and being able to make people smile, I think that would make me happy. If you look up the definition of a strong woman, I think my mom would be there. She's come through a lot herself. And then on top of what happened with these two people who were supposed to be father figures in my life, she's done well. And I'm very honored that she's my mother. My relationship with my siblings is absolutely fantastic. My sister and I, she has been there for me when I've needed it the most, and I will always do the same for her. As for my brother, again, a fantastic relationship with him. So when I went off to camp in 2015, I was what they called the special counselor. So I would work one-to-one with campers who needed that extra support. Maybe they had a mental disability, a mental illness, or just anything, trauma, loss. I spent the week developing a relationship with this child, and eventually this child told me what exactly was going on, and this child was burnt from the bottom of his body and the entire left side of his body, and we found out that it wasn't an accident. To think that I was able to build a relationship with this child and led me to believe that I was very, very good at being able to help kids. So that's why I started in the child and youth care program here at Loyalist. I have my guitar, I have my friends, I have my car. So I use those all quite a bit. I go for drives, play songs, talk to friends. But I think the biggest thing for me is I realize that you can't appreciate the light without the darkness.